So one of the most talked about and controversial topics in America is the death penalty. Now, some believe that it's the absolute right thing to do, while others believe it's the capital and the government trying to kill off innocent people. And the backward-looking or deontological position holds human beings as rational agents with malice afterthoughts, which means they think of killing the person and then they go through with it. And with that, they've already forfeited their life over, so they deserve to die anyways. And then the forward-looking or consequentialist tradition holds punishment as a deterrent, and the capital should punish the person in an adequate way, punish the murderers in an adequate way. And someone who believes in the death penalty and think that it's right is Louis Pojman. Now, he ends up holding a combined theory of punishment where the backward-looking has the criminal committing a heinous crime, and then the forward-looking is that a harsh punishment will deter the murderers and is sufficient to justify the death penalty. Now, he says that people often confuse revenge and retribution. And since moral people feel outraged towards heinous crimes, the moral justification punishment is not revenge, but it's almost like dessert to them. It feels sweet. And this means that vengeance shows harm towards the offender out of anger, because they almost believe that, hey, if you killed my uncle, then why shouldn't I be able to kill you? It's almost like an eye for an eye. And retribution is supported by the theory that the criminal deserves the punishment fitted to the crime. And there's three propositions that go along with that. And one of them is all the guilty deserve to be punished. 2, only the guilty deserve to be punished. And then 3 is the guilty deserve to be punished in proposition to the severity of their crime. Now, with that, criminals such as Ted Bundy, who raped and killed over 100 women, deserved nothing less than capital punishment. No doubt those malicious acts were committed, and he deserved worse than the death penalty, but during this time, that is the only option. And with that, the death penalty, it's a reminder that we have consequences to our actions as human beings, and we're responsible for that and what we do. And the consequences are immoral and should be, the consequences are immoral, and the punishment should be adequate and appropriate. Now, the death penalty, some people believe that it's a fitting response to evil because you're just killing people off and not giving them a second chance at life, even though they have those thoughts in their head. And now, the second tradition is the theory of deterrence. And Podgman gives an example of where every time a murderer goes out and kills just one person, that they should be killed right away, and a lightning will strike and they'll be killed immediately, and the population of the world would start to decline rapidly because of that. But he also believes that common sense isn't enough during a case, and that you need more than just that, because someone could say one thing even though the opposite might have happened. So during a case where death penalty is on the line, they want facts, and they want true research, true evidence. And back then, knowledge was one stop short of killing in the act of robbery, and with that, you would have had to have a really good lawyer and just pray that you got out of it. And the reasonable chance of being electrocuted was really high. And now, when it comes to abolitionists, they believe that only the poor get the death penalty and the rich don't get anything. And with that, everyone deserves a fair trial. If the poor person is guilty, then they're guilty. If the rich person is guilty, then they're guilty. But when Podgman proposes that the capital punishment should be broader, not narrow, but broader in the sense of for rich men and women also deserve the death penalty if they're running people out of money and they become richer and the poor get poorer. And he believes that the death penalty or the death sentence would have a deterrent effect in some cases. And who knows if the death penalty is the right call when it comes to white-collar crimes, but it would start to slow down the thought of only the poor people getting the death penalty once that would happen.